Hello everyone, greetings from Croatia, a small country in the midst between West meets East Europe, Balkan. Used to be a part of a country known as Yugoslavia. Some of you know, maybe some of you don't, but okay. So I for a few days feel inspired to make video on my own life realizations, and it is the, I don't know, maybe the top 10 topics for sure, not just here, it's globally, worldwide. Inflation. So how to survive inflation. I have my own stories, being 62 years old in this body at the moment. I have many stories that I heard from my late parents, from my late grandparents who survived First World War, Second World War, and then my own in the 90s when we had this horrible war. And it was very, very tough times. Took toll not just as in the war, but also, you know, everything that comes inflation. It is not just not having money for food, shortages, for heat, energy, and so on. It's the psychological thing, you know. Um, well, uh, so one thing that I was thinking about how to make this video, you know, top 10 how this or that, and you know there's so many videos out there with prepper this, how to prep, how to this. Yeah, you can go do your researches. But one thing that is really, as I said, listening to my grandparents and then to my parents and in my own experience in the 90s in the war here, what I have learned is it is the point of, you know, psychological or the spiritual of the strong, standing strong to survive. It is as in war. You know, okay, we don't have most of us in the world, besides, you know, okay, we have now the Russian-Ukraine war. Um, there are other few places where war is continuing. We don't hear it on the mainstream media, but they're going on. Wars are going on all the time in the world. Um, so, yeah, but it is a war. It is a war on all of us, on a lot of things, on our lives, our dignity. It is survival. Anyway, war is survival, you know. The strongest one will survive, so they say. Another thing that comes to my mind, and I'm making this now as I do my videos, I do spontaneous. I have a topic as now is how to survive inflation. I do it spontaneous. I don't write a script basically or something like that. What comes to my mind, you know, really in war times, I said many times later when I was traveling around Europe. I traveled before, but I traveled also after the war. Um, really, what does war to people? I saw it. It brings either the best out of them or it brings the worst out of them. The same is right now. Inflation, you know. We all, in different forms, no matter in which country, city, continent we all suffer a lot of things at the moment. At the moment, we always suffer. There's always suffering going on. Who doesn't acknowledge that? Well, um, but right now the topic is inflation. So we are in a lot of shortages. You know, many countries' economies are falling down. No electricity, no gas, heat. Winter is here. It is cold. Food shortages, many shortages. Money, the value of money is really, really, you know, we know it. you go to buy whatever. Is it toilet paper? Is it bread? Is it cheese? Is it just a salad or tomato? It's bananas. Everything is, it's incredibly expensive, and one must really, put the pennies or cents together. What can I buy today for myself? Or when you have kids or animals, pets, how much can I spend in a month? And no matter the fact how much you work and whatever you do, it's just, it's short. It's short, and it's getting shorter. So in my experience, as I said, in the 90s here in the war, and we had a lot of shortages because there was sanctions over our country and the region, and even embargo in defending ourselves. So we know shortages. But what I always loved about this area specifically is, back to the point, the worst or the most best in people. So in those where horrible war situations brought the best out in people is this spirit of togetherness and the spirit of helping each other. Not just in sharing and trading, but also in giving advices, giving advices how to survive. And this is what reminded me or inspired me to make this video, to remind everyone, no matter where you are and no matter what your shortages are, it is good to have a good, how to say, community, of friends or neighbors, or maybe meeting new people around the way, on the way, that you can rely on, that you can count on, and that they know they can do the same. They can rely and count on you in helping, you know. And, I'm talking for myself in the 90s. There were no cell phones, Sometimes we didn't have even electricity, so no landlines and stuff you couldn't call. You had to be mobile. You really had to be mobile. And yes, a very important thing is creating, but be careful. This is also, really be careful about the people that you choose, that you feel that you can count on them and rely on them. And then that's a great thing, Then you have a great, how to say, fundament of survival. You can count on them in whatever is needed. So, what did we do? We traded. Everyone has something to give, and everyone needs something to receive, right? So you can go in different, it's endless. Let's say just a difference. I know here, and I did a lot of with NGOs helping because I speak languages. I went here throughout Croatia and to Bosnia, and I saw it really. People who lived rural, they had it easier. Of course they did, because they had a garden. Or even they made improvised greenhouses at that time. They had it easier because food is always food and water, and wood, of course. And city people had it much, much heavier. But then there was a good thing. Mostly everyone had someone from the city living in cities or towns, had someone in some villages, and then they could trade independent, be how to say, creative what you can trade, sometimes, not sometimes, but your knowledge, resources in knowledge and expertise in knowing something how to do, it's a value. It's a huge value in such things, So back to the rural. So people had their own food, their own water sources. They had woods, Well, something that is in bigger countries a little bit, I guess, like Germany now, falling down definitely economically. It's a little bit heavier. But anyway, as I said, let your imagination, work. That's all I can tell you. And you never know. Don't underestimate your knowledge, your expertises, no matter what they are. How can you trade them with people rurally who have food, water, and woods? For example, people rurally in villages, they did good and they traded. Someone had corn, someone had barley, someone had cows and milk, someone had, and they traded, and this is how they survived. And now I think it is for all of us the time to think about this factor, and in fact, the spirit of the spirit of togetherness, where I think, no matter do you believe in God or not, of course I do, um, God wants us to see, you have these people, and I call them demoniac mentality or angelic mentality. Who is who, you know? Um, the demoniacs, we know, always greedy, lusty, angry, and just taking, never giving something back. But the angelic mentality is always trying to give, help, and also ready and open to receive, to work together in the spirit of togetherness. So look good around you. Who are the people you can count on and that can count on you? Let them know. But again, not to sound paranoid, but choose wisely. Choose wisely your community, but create a community. It is extremely important. This is how, from my experience, I know in this war in the 90s here, and from my parents' talk, and from my grandparents' First and Second World War, creating a community in the spirit of togetherness where you can share with people, trade, no matter how and what. So yeah, definitely choose wisely whom you can trust. This is, trust me, extremely important. For the city people who have it really not easy at all. As I said, I don't know, while there is YouTube, electricity, watch YouTube, research what you can do in your flats, mostly flat people, who don't have a house and can make their own garden and so on. Um, what can you all? You can do a lot of things and grow food, believe it or not, in very simple ways, even potatoes and stuff like that. Uh, what and how to grow in your flats, in your apartments. Do your research while there is still, as I said, electricity, YouTube, and so on, because I don't know. I don't want to make, as they say, fear mongering or something like that, but let's be realistic. We don't know what's coming, it's survival. So choose this wisely, people whom you can trust, and what can you do in your flats, and whom do you have outside of town or big cities, outside, that you can trust and with whom you can connect, and in some kind of way make trading. This would be my basic of how to survive inflation. Oh no, another topic. Yeah, Christmas is coming, and yeah, the season of giving and gifts and stuff. Don't waste money on silly, stupid plastic, whatever. I don't know, stuff in big shops. And why don't you go and look for local? You have them. locally, maybe in your city, town, or maybe a little bit outside, people who do handcraft stuff, or do yourselves for each other. Make gifts. Make it a nice holiday. Why not? No matter what, keep up the spirit. It's always good for you, and if you have your children and family, or friends, make your own gifts, nice gifts. There's so much things you can do on your own, why spend money? You don't have it anyway, and you will regret, oh my god, I spent so much money for this or that. Why? Let's stop this mentality of consumerism. Let's do some nice own craft work, no matter what it is. Make it nice, make it joyful, for your family, for your kids, for your friends, and so on. Or go local. There are so many artists out there, who do stuff, and they're not. There's some who are really like with prices, but go for those, humbly asking not too much money for stuff, who do nice craft artwork even for children, toys and stuff. Go and buy from them, support each other. It's about the spirit of togetherness and really supporting in bad, heavy, tough times like we are now. um let's support each other. It will make you happy and you will make them happy, and maybe this will be a step to creating a new community. And what comes to my mind? Flea markets, used stuff, secondhand shops, or flea markets if you have them in your area, Go for this, go into this direction. Don't go into, I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. Shopping malls and just spending, and then what? Then you won't have for paying your whatever. Is it rent? Is it electricity? Is it food even, No. Basically, simple living and high thinking. This is I would say, the main motto of surviving any tough times. Is it war, or is it how to survive inflation at the moment? I think for now this would be it. If you have any questions, let me know, write them down in your comments, I will gladly answer them. But I think this is it. Simple living, high thinking, and community, creating a community that you can rely on and that can rely on you. In trust, love, joy, peace, happiness. Endless blessings, beautiful souls from me, from Croatia. P.S. I added in this video, I think, 2 pictures of my daughter's artwork. She's making great artwork, many stuff. Her favorite one are making organites. You can research what are organites. Very great stuff. She makes them in different shapes, forms, pyramids, as jewelry, however you order it. She has her own fan page and Etsy. I will put links below in the description. Also on her Etsy page, I think, on her LalyLovesArt fan page is also my poem I wrote 12 years ago. Of course, it's the name of the poem is Together, because together is almost more powerful than the word love. And yes, I put also some a post 2 3 how you can eventually, if you want to donate me, because I'm very ill, I'm getting even more sick. And as an old wise man once told me, there's nothing wrong with asking for help when you need help. And of course, I ask with no shame for help, and I gladly help others, and always did and always will. I think that's all. Endless blessings. Bye for now.